This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Lockdown Coverage week number 12 in the National Football League. Tennessee Titans on the road taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Look, no Andrew Luck yet again for the Titans. I don't give a damn how you get it. Snap this ugly streak versus the Colts. Took you ages to finally get a game with no Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck. Got to find a way to take advantage of it. And so you haven't beat the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium in 9 tries. 0-9 since the inception of Lucas Oil Stadium. And so if you're the Indianapolis Colts, you're trying to make it 0-10 against this Titans team, or 10-0, I should say. And if you're the Titans, you got to find a way to snap this. You want to win this division? Hey, find a way to get it done. No excuses. Get it done. So it was not pretty by any stretch of the imagination at all. There was a little bit of a Pittsburgh Steelers ass-whooping hangover early in this ball game as they weren't able to find the end zone, had to settle for some Ryan Succop field goals that could have really done some damage had they turned those possessions into touchdowns early in this game. Because when you're playing a team like the Indianapolis Colts, the worst thing you can do is allow them to hang around. And those early field goals, instead of being up 14 or 10-0 and it just being 6-0, allowed the Colts to hang around and eventually take the lead in this football game. 16 unanswered points. They were up 16-6 at one point in this game before giving up 14 unanswered points. And there was one play that changed the entire complexity of this game, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. And this is a big win for the Titans. It wasn't pretty, but again, it doesn't have to be. Just gritty and a dub. And with the Jaguars' loss coupled with this win, they now have a share of first place yet again in the AFC South division at 7-4. So huge win on the road. And it's going to come down to tiebreakers and who has a better divisional mark. And so you're going to have to sweep the Colts because that's what you have to do. And if you're the Titans, you're going to have to find a way to beat the Texans the next time you see them. They've already destroyed you once. No Deshaun Watson second time around when you see them. Take them out. And you're going to have to find a way to sweep the Jags if you want to win this division. So 4-2 has to be your final record in this division. And the only way you're going to get there is sweeping the Indianapolis Colts. And they were able to do that with a 20-16 victory. We'll get to that in a second. But first, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I've got a number of social media platforms that will keep you abreast of what's going on this channel. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, and of course, there's YouTube. Turn on those notifications, which will allow you to know exactly when I'm going live. I tell you all the time, treat my channel like Halloween candy. Turn on those notifications. Treat those live streams like Halloween candy. Every bit of candy in that bucket isn't great candy, okay? You've got to sort and pick and probe through that candy and pick out the ones that you like. You don't want to be a part of every stream? That's fine. Turn on those notifications so you know exactly what I'm breaking down so you can decide if you want to be a part of the stream or not. If you're a hardcore football fan like me, you want to be a part of every stream. But if you're not, and you just care about your team specifically, but be my guest. So turn on those notifications so you know what's going on. Also, those social media platforms that I just mentioned to you, the links to help you follow me on those different social media platforms, turn on those notifications. The links are down in the description along with how you can donate to this channel via Patreon or PayPal. Those two links that you see on the screen before you right now, also down in the description, along with a link to a video I did outlining what exclusive content you can get by donating via Patreon. So check all of that out, all of those links down in the description below. That being said, let's jump into this win for the Titans, 20-16 on the road versus the Indianapolis Colts, snapping a 9-game losing streak in Indianapolis. So this was a big one here. getting the job done 20-16 late. Probably the biggest disappointment in this game was the lack of a run game early. Now, late, when they had to have it, the run game was outstanding. Derrick Henry came in and really provided a hammer down the stretch. But it was their inability to run the football for the vast majority of this game, coupled with Marcus Mariota's 2 interceptions. It really stifled this offense. And I talked about this last week when they lost to the Steelers on Thursday night. When they can't run the football effectively, they're not the same team. All right, their offense is predicated off of running the football. And I don't care how you do it. I don't care if Marcus Mariota has 8 carries and he's being a big-time factor in the read option game. I don't give a damn how you do it, but you've got to run the football. Whether it's downhill with Murray and Derrick Henry, or it's Mariota in the read option game. I don't give a damn how you do it. You just got to be able to run the football effectively, and they weren't able to do that in this game for much of this contest. And it wasn't until late when they were able to wrestle the momentum away from the Colts is when they really started to run the football effectively. So they've got to find a way to get back to smash mouth football, moving guys off of the line of scrimmage and creating some rushing lanes for these backs. When they were at their best earlier in the season, when they destroyed Seattle, when they destroyed Jacksonville, where they were hot, scoring a ton of points in the third quarter, they were running the football with the best of them in the league. They've got to get back to that if they want to be the team that wins this division and is a real player in the AFC playoffs. Once they get there, they've got to find a way to get back to running the football. That's their identity. As much as they may want to get away from that, they can't. They have to run it. Marcus Mariota is a much better quarterback off of play action fake than he is just dropping back and settling into the pocket. He made a beautiful throw to Delaney Walker in like triple coverage. But for as good as a throw as that was, he threw 2 interceptions in this game. All right. One to Rashard Melvin, where you're just like, hey, I need you to put that football out in front of the defender, in front of your receiver, not behind him, which allows the defender to come in and make a play. And so you got to run the football because Marcus Mariota needs the run game. As good as he can be, he's not good enough to lead a team, put him on his back, and just strictly throw the football from the pocket. The run game is what the Tennessee Titans do best. And if they're not doing that best, they're in trouble offensively. And you saw that in this game. If not for a Marlon Mack fumble, when you're down 16-6, you lose this football game. You were not going to win. You had nothing going offensively. The Colts were in total control of this game, and you had no answers. You couldn't figure out how to run the football. Your passing game wasn't working effectively enough. You were going to lose this game. It was going to take some type of huge play on your part or some type of mishap by the Colts, whichever one came first. And luckily enough for you, the Colts mishap came first because I don't think a Titans big play was ever coming in this game. I don't think that you were going to get a Corey Davis 61-yard catch and run. I don't think you were going to get a Taywan Taylor quick strike over the top. I don't think anything of the sort was coming. You were going to have to rely on a mistake by the Colts, and you got that on the pitch that was mishandled by Marlon Mack that allowed you to take over 1st and 10 inside the Colts 15-yard line, and you were able to punch that in on a Mariota toss from to Delaney Walker in the end zone for a touchdown. So this was not a pretty game at all, but it was a win, and that's all that matters. Defensively, I thought you did some good things in this game. I thought that the Colts did have a little bit of success running the football, which I think you can run on the Titans. You were able to get after Brissett a little bit in this game. You took away T.Y. Hilton, which is huge, and you made Eugene show up. And anytime Eugene shows up, most likely, often than not, the Colts are going to lose the football game. Anytime Jack Doyle is leading their team in receiving, that's not a good thing. And so hats off to you for taking away T.Y. and making Eugene come out to play in this game. And I thought that you gave your offense every opportunity to try to steal this victory, and they did. And without the defensive performance that you put forth in this game, because they put you in some tough spots with some turnovers and their inability to sustain offense, they put you in some tough spots in this game. And you were able to respond by holding the Colts to 16 points. Had you just given up one more touchdown instead of a field goal, you lose this game. So hats off to the Titans defensive group for holding the Colts down to 16 points and taking away T.Y. Hilton and then giving this Titans team an opportunity, which they needed essentially the entire game offensively to find a way to pull this thing out. So defense, they get the game ball. Forcing it, and really it was an unforced error with Marlon Mack, but you still had to pounce on that fumble, and you did. So big game for the Titans to win on the road against a team that they're supposed to beat, but they've had trouble beating over the years. And it really hasn't mattered who's been at quarterback. They've struggled to beat this Colts football team. So big win here for the Tennessee Titans over the Indianapolis Colts 2016. For the Colts, same story, different week. I've been politicking and campaigning for Marlon Mack to get more touches, and they toss him the football, and then he bobbles it and fumbles it, and that ended up being a game-changing play. So you hate to see the young fellas F up like that, but, you try to get them involved, and this is how they repay you. Eugene Hilton showed up in this game. Anytime he shows up, bad things happen, and so it was another struggle. The Colts simply just don't know how to close games out in the fourth quarter. They're one of the worst fourth quarter teams in the league, and it's not a coincidence that they're 3-8 because they're so bad in the fourth quarter. The Jets are bad in the fourth quarter. They're a 4-7 football team. That's what happens when you're not good in winning time. Fourth quarter is crunch time. It's winning time, and when you play bad football and you find ways to lose instead of finding ways to win in the fourth quarter, you're going to have a lot of games like this, and this has been the story of the Colts season. They've been in ball games. They've even led in many fourth quarters, only to see the lead slip through their fingers and them ultimately lose games in the fourth quarter. Add another one to the list of games lost in the fourth quarter as they fall to the Titans 20-16 in this ball game. Old man Gore continues to chug along. Jack Doyle probably been your most consistent receiver this season, and he's had his fair share of drops. So that tells you all you need to know. Bottom line is this just hasn't been a good season for the Colts offensively. No consistency whatsoever. 1 week you get T.Y., the next 2 weeks Eugene. You haven't gotten a lot of production out of Dante Moncrief. Who is your third receiver? Chester Rogers? Give me a break. So it's pretty disappointing, to say the least, in Indianapolis. But you were able to create 2 turnovers defensively, 2 picks off of Mariota, but your inability to score touchdowns, your inability to simply take care of the ball. I just think taking care of the ball would have won you this football game, and that fumble was devastating deep in your own territory. Can't happen, but when you're a bad team, those things tend to happen. Titans get the win, move to 7-4, and get a share of first place with the Jags, who lost later on in the afternoon to the Cardinals. So this win gets them a share of first place, and next week they go home to take on the Houston Texans, and they look to exact a measure of revenge there. Meanwhile, the Colts go on the road to take on Jacksonville, a team that will be looking to bounce back from a tough loss on the road. So more AFC South family business to come for both of these teams moving forward. We'll see how they handle that family business next week. As we get to any comments that may be out there, Brandon Bernard says, do you think the Titans should fire offensive coordinator Terry Robisky at the end of the year? The offense has not been living up to its potential. I wouldn't be opposed to them finding a replacement for Terry Robisky. He struggled this season. They haven't run the football as effectively. I don't think they've been as creative with Marcus Mariota as they should be and could have been to this point. And I think they've got enough weapons at the receiver positions for them to be a little bit more dynamic in their play calling, putting guys in positions to make plays a little bit better. So, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to a change at seasons. And Joe Sharp says, love when work is slow so I can watch all the streams. Is Luck done for the season? If he is healthy, do you think there's a reason to play him? He's done for the year. They've already shelved him, and he's not healthy. He had a setback with his shoulder about a month ago, and so they went ahead and shut him down for the season. They still don't actually know what the hell's wrong with him, and so that's an ongoing saga there, but he's not coming back this year at all. This is the Jacoby Brissett show moving forward, and so we'll see what happens with the Colts and with Jacoby Brissett. He may actually be the quarterback of the future because of Luck's health and the injury and them not knowing what's actually wrong with him. We may be looking at the future quarterback in Indianapolis, in Jacoby Brissett. We'll see what happens. But Luck is not coming back this year. He is on IR and done for the season. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for joining me here on Lockdown Coverage. Titans squeak out a 20-16 win. Great running down the stretch by Derrick Henry. It sucked that final touchdown, which he basically was the reason for. He accounted for most of the yards on that possession. They get down there and they put DeMarco Murray at fullback and go fullback dive and allow him to steal the touchdown that was earned by Derrick Henry nonetheless. Henry, 13 carries, 79 yards, was the bell cow down the stretch. And when they needed to run the football, surprisingly, they were able to run the football, did a great job of running out the clock with their 4-minute offense, were helped by a Colts penalty, but nonetheless, they were outstanding down the stretch with their 4-minute offense, running the football, some nice, easy completions for Mariota with some misdirection to help them possess the football, stay in bounds. Great job by both Murray and Henry to stay in bounds on some plays that led them towards the sidelines, but both of them were able to stay in bounds and help salt away the clock with the 20-16 victory. It's going to do it for your man Louie T here on Lockdown Coverage of Titans and Colts. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. Come back as I've got plenty more games to break down, including Falcons holding on against the Bucs. Julio Jones with a massive day. We'll break that one down and more to come next on Lockdown Coverage. Don't you go anywhere. I'll see you in a bit.